Thanks, Jessica. Well, day 2 of the Ryan Stensacker trial saw a familiar face as Sergeant Detective Amanda McNamee briefly took the stand once again right off the top. Now, she's expected to testify again later in the trial. The fire chief also says that crews will remain on scene here, putting out the flames and monitoring the scene throughout the night and into Monday. Well, it wasn't a full slate, but 2 of the 3 candidates vying to be North Dakota's next governor participated in Saturday evening's gubernatorial debate in Rugby. As you can see behind me, beams are being put in place at Christ Lutheran Church, rebuilding a church and also a community. The judge ordered a pre-sentence investigation for Rodriguez Rios. He faces the possibility of life in prison without parole. Central Dispatch got the call around 8 a.m. this morning about the crash. There were 4 commercial vehicles that were involved in the crash and 6 passenger vehicles involved. Mark, you've told me that Minot Public Schools plans on redrawing some of the attendance lines to help cut down on the overcrowding. How is that going to achieve that goal? People in the community and beyond have donated tens of thousands of items of clothing to help the families displaced by this past weekend's fire. I'm Joe Skurzewski. Coming up on KMOT at 6, I head to the Bottineau Winter Park to learn more about their adaptive learning program. Construction crews are hard at work on the facility next to the courthouse. The only thing is, that's not the new jail. It'll be the new county administration building. The new addition will be built right here next to the old jail. Cleanup continues of flooded properties here on Rice Lake. I'm Joe Skurzewski, and coming up on KMOT at 6, I speak with some residents of the lake on the progress of their cleanup before the winter hits. Hello everyone, Joe here in the KMOT studios. On the evening report, we'll tell you how a Minot woman was able to ward off a burglar with a handgun. The next few weeks are going to be a whole new experience for the 115 Cannonball grade school students displaced after a grass fire damaged their school. When you have your cup of Morning Joe, rock and roll probably doesn't come to mind. A new coffee shop in Minot is bucking that trend. Bernie Sanders picking up a win of his own in the Hoosier State, but the Democratic nomination remains Hillary Clinton's to win. The backlog of rail cars and its effect on farmers and grain elevators has found itself front and center in the public eye, especially as the harvest gets underway. 83 homes were purchased in Minot's first round of flood-damaged home acquisitions, and the Magic City is gearing up for another round of buyout offers. But they need your help. Well, now we're going to head over to meteorologist Amanda Lindquist in our KMOT Weather Center. Amanda, it was a gloomy, cloudy start to the day, but this afternoon it cleared up.
Hey, yeah, it wasn't too bad out there this afternoon, right?
I enjoyed the day. I almost wish I could do the news outside. Now, the recent unrest in Ferguson, and for that matter nationwide, has raised questions about relations between police officers and civilians, and whether there's a need for more surveillance. As students get set to graduate from high school and head to college, many will begin acquiring large amounts of debt for the first time. There's no easy way to get out from under student loans, even if you go bankrupt. During the break, I overheard you talking about voter turnout.
Yes.
Something that you might have been a little surprised about with the turnout in this election. Your thoughts? 1-year-old Blake Zimmerman from Devil's Lake was the first person to have his implant put in right here in the Peace Garden State. Nathan Smith couldn't believe it. One of his family's grain elevators up in smoke.
It's going to be a disaster. I mean, driving down here knowing that elevator's on fire, that we had just gotten full of grain.
Flames engulfed the elevator this morning, a Sawyer landmark, and a main storage bin for Smith's farm for the past 15 years. Crews from Sawyer, Velva, and Minot Rural Fire responded to the scene shortly after 6 a.m. They decided to rip apart what was left of the bin with an excavator to prevent damage to other parts of the structure.
We did that to save this building, because if that corner would have fell to the west side of it here, it would have shuffled and took that building out.
Crews from Canadian Pacific monitored the railroad tracks next to the elevator. Weigel shut the tracks down while crews battled the flames, but eventually allowed trains like this one to pass through. No word on the cause of the fire. The Bismarck Fire Marshal will investigate. In the meantime, Smith and his family will begin counting their losses.
This is a 7-figure plus type of situation.
Smith says he has insurance, but with the drop in grain prices and the harvest, he says it couldn't come at a worse time.
We lost the grain, we lost the elevator, we lost the storage, which we need this year. This is one of my main grain handling facilities, and it's a pile of ash right now.
The fire chief also says that crews will remain on scene here, putting out the flames and monitoring the scene throughout the night and into Monday. Reporting from Sawyer, Joe Skurzewski, NBC North Dakota News. Winter may be several months away, but the sound of cleanup and urgency fills the air at Rice Lake.
This winter is probably the last winter that a lot of these structures are even going to stand up to the water, so it's kind of getting to that urgency factor where these things got to come out.
Residents say they want to get as much as they can out of the water before it freezes, and the costs go even higher.
It's not just cabins, it's trees, it's debris, it's, riprap. I mean, it's a huge expense to homeowners.
Pittner, who lives in Minot, says he's preparing to pull what's left of his property out of the lake.
What goes through your mind when you see this, when you see your property underwater?
It's disheartening, it's heartbreaking, it's tough.
Shane Soltis has also seen his lake properties go under, his cabin, garage, and shed. He said he's frustrated with what happened, but like Pittner, he plans to rebuild.
We're going to lift this up, move it back, fill it all in, make it usable. We're going to tear all that out, build the shoreline, make it all usable, and hopefully someday we'll put a cabin on.
This year's efforts are the culmination of 4 to 5 years of struggle for the people of the lake. Those lucky enough to salvage their homes have risen them up 5 feet or more, while many have had to give up their homes and a good chunk of their income.
It's tough. It's tough for everybody out here. It's tough financially, emotionally. People have lost their homes. People went from losing their homes in Minot in the flood to moving out here and losing their homes again on the flood front.
Still, many remain positive and swear they're going to rebuild.
It's Grace Lake. It's God's lake. That's what we call it.
It's been a tough couple of days for Keenan Zeltinger.
Don't know exactly what to think. It's been a long time since I've owned pretty much nothing.
The Newtown man lost his apartment this past Saturday when a fast-spreading fire destroyed 12 units and a separate house, turning them into a mangled pile of debris and leaving 13 families without a home. Zeltinger and several others displaced by the blaze work at the Four Bears Casino. Management immediately brought all the families in, provided them with shelter in the casino's hotel, and gave the employees a clothing allowance and time off.
I am an employee, but that really gives them no obligation to really help me in the way they have. And the generosity of Four Bears Casino and Lodge and the management here and the community as a whole is overwhelming.
We operate under a team concept here at the casino. We're all like one large family, and we look out for each other.
Across town, goodwill of another kind. Blocks away from the fire, donations pouring in, with tens of thousands of articles of clothing, home goods, and money.
It's been an overwhelming response from not only this community, but from the communities around the area.
Volunteers sorting through it all, like Russ Hornbacher, who wasn't about to let a disability stop him from helping his fellow people.
A lot of people will say things, a lot of people will, make promises, but when it comes to actually doing something for people, there's not many that I don't think that do things.
The ordeal has provided perspective.
Tangible way of loving them. It's not just words.
We help each other out in time of need.
The blaze may have destroyed their homes, but never their spirit.